Hello, everybody. Some of y'all know me as Texans Down Under, Anita, or Mason Jar Candies. Another thing you may have heard referenced is Branch Chaser, because I really enjoy doing genealogy and following the branches of the tree. And recently, I've been chasing down some stuff for Big Matt's mom, her family side, and in particular, um, I came across some stuff that I just thought was really interesting and I thought I'd share. So when you see the videos, the commercials about any kind of genealogy page, obviously Ancestry is the one that you hear about the most. There's also familysearch.org and a few others like that. But it seems like all you do is you just type your little name in and boom, all this stuff shows up. Well, sometimes you do get that. Sometimes you luck out and you get a lot of really good information, and then you start following paths and following paths, and eventually you can find some really cool stuff. But something else that does tend to happen though is sometimes people will take the information that comes up first, and it's important to kind of dig in a little deeper, and sometimes that means going off the normal beaten path. So I'm going to be sticking within Ancestry except for a little bit. I'm going to go over and show something over in Family Search, but there's different things people aren't aware of how to kind of get around and look for things. So let's dig in here. First, I'm going to bring in, let's see here, ta-da, and this one should go full screen. Do we get it? Yes. Hi, how are you? We're going to come back to this though. And can I switch it? Can I switch it? I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's start with this. Right here you can see this is Matt's family, and we're going to go all the way down here. Come on. Now, right here, that is Big Matt's grandparents on his mom's side. And I'm keeping it way out because other people don't need to know all their information. But we're going to go all the way up here. If you look here, you can see we went from here. This is how many generations we've gone back. And we're going to pull in, bring it over here a little bit. Great. Now, let me pull up. Now that we're down into here, I'm going to change it over to, there we go. Now, in this picture, you can see that we have Peter, Guy, and Grace. All right. And we're checking on the parents and kind of figuring out who's who and how we got there. Now, Joshua Guy, that's where we're going to start. We have Joshua and we have Elizabeth, and we're going to go into Joshua's first. Go and look at his profile. And he was in Massachusetts. Now, if you look, 1655. From what I've found so far, he was born in 1655 in England, and he died in 1722 in Massachusetts. So essentially at this point, 1655 is Joshua was the immigrant that came over on that line. Now we're going to be checking out here. If we look in the hints and we get these wonderful old records that it'll bring up. See these written here, North American Family Histories. Some of these, if you notice, it doesn't even have a picture. It just kind of has the details. Well, it's kind of hard to check and see if that's accurate or not. Once again, we have England births and things. We'll check on him later in those. American marriages. Now, right here, we have U.S. New England marriages prior to 1700. Now, this one, you can tell it's starting to get into actual original records. But let's find our way there. All right, we're going to go into this one here, North American Family Histories, and pick it up. And we have North American Family Histories, 1500 to 2000. That is 500 years worth of information that they have in this book. And I'm going to bring this to where I want to switch it for this one being the full screen. Okay, now you can see what I've got there. And I can take a drink of my tea and don't have to make funny faces. All right. Now, in this North American history, family histories, I'm going to click on it. And it brings me to this paper here. Okay. Now, this is taken as an excerpt out of this history that was cobbled together. Well, I say that like it was random. No, this was records that were put together in 1910, I believe, this particular book. I'm going to bring it up. And then around and around and around. This is not supposed to be taking that long. In the meantime, we'll click over to here. Now, I actually had already pulled this up earlier. I'm glad I did that. When you go in to look at that, it would bring up this record. It shows what we were seeing before, the same North American family histories. And here it says T, then Thatcher, and then this is the Thatcher genealogy. And down here, here's one key little point. This is scan number 141 or page 141 out of 698. Now, if we open that up, let's not forget the 141, but we're just going to go to page 1. See, there's a whole other family prior to that. This is just for Thatcher, is this 698 pages. So we're going to go back to 141. And I'm hoping y'all are able to see all of this okay. I'm going to scroll in. Now we have Joshua Gee that married Elizabeth. Now we're going to check a little bit and find out who was Elizabeth's parents. Now we have that Elizabeth married Joshua Gee, and then after that, once he passed away, she married Peter Thatcher. Now, yes, their last names are the same. They are related, but this right here, Reverend Peter, that's where the families divide. So this is multiple cousins removed. And I'm not going to get into tonight what all those details would be. But if we see up here, we're going to go back one page in this book. So it's scan 140, but it's page 106. And it gives a little bit of history. And here we find out about Judah Thatcher. That is her father. Now, Judah says he was born in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. I'm sorry if you're from the area and I'm slaughtering these names. I apologize. But they don't have a record of his birth, but it was most likely in the 1640s. And now, something to consider, it does say that he died in Yarmouth in November 4th of 1676. So there's a lot of maybes and probablys and possiblies here. We're going to go in, like I said before, we're going to go back to page 1 because there was something specific here I wanted to show you. If we scroll over, here's the first page, essentially, of this book that was scanned specifically to the Thatchers. Now, this is the family coat of arms. Okay. And then we're going to go to the next. Now, this book was put together in 1910. Now, that's way down there. The reason why I'm pointing this out, the reason why that's important is because it'd be really easy to say, okay, this book is over 110 years old. When you consider getting it published and everything else, older than 120 years, 15, whichever. Anyway, the point is, you would think this is so much closer to the time that they were actually living there, that wouldn't they, it's so much closer to the time that they were living there. Wouldn't they know? Wouldn't they be able to have a better chance of having the records that haven't been damaged because so much time hasn't gone by or whatever? Yes, that is a possibility. However, here's what a lot of people don't really think about. We have so much more technology now, and I'm going to show you why that's important. First of all, the person who was getting these records right over here, trying to go into group layout, and it does not want to. Add screen. Okay, fine, be that way. There we go. Okay. Now, when people were, yes, a little off. It's 3:00 in the morning. All right. It's 3:00 in the morning. Let's try this again. All right. So with the family here, can I get this to switch? Full screen layout. All right. We're going to go back into looking at this. We have 1910, this information. We're going to go and look at Elizabeth Thatcher, who's Elizabeth Harris, sorry, that was born of Thatcher. Where am I at? We have Joshua Gee here. Okay. No, this is what I was looking for. We've got that, and I am all over the place. Massachusetts. Aha! This is what I was looking for. Okay, now what I did is I actually went into just the regular scans and stuff within the Ancestry.com and was able to locate here Yarmouth births, marriages, deaths, families, 1645 to 1860. So from here, these are actual folders. This has been itemized, indexed of births from during this time period in the town of Yarmouth. If you look up here, see where it says births, marriages, deaths by family, 1645 to 1860. And going through here, we can get the, we go through, it's alphabetized. We can pull up, this is something I like to do once I start seeing kind of a pattern of what's going on. We can scroll through and let's see, we're going to randomly check a little farther down and see how close we are to finding Thatcher. No. Come on. Now, J, good time to remember your alphabet. Let's check back this. I think I went a little bit too far. Time to get out the reading glasses here, folks. Okay, we're going to check this one, see how close we are. Did I? No, 14. Come on. Why doesn't this want to go? Now, I know some of y'all might even be getting a little bit bored. Promise there's something interesting where I'm trying to take you. But sometimes, in all honesty, doing genealogy, what it is, as I said, it's not just type in a name and boom, there you go. But instead, now here's our T's. We've got Thomas Thatcher here. Now we have a John Thatcher, Peter Thatcher. And if we look, see where it says 12, 15, this is an index that's been put together where they have all these other names farther in the book. And someone later came through and wrote in, okay, we've got this person on this page and this person on that page, and they've put them all here. Okay, so it's made an index for us. So let's look and see what we can find about Peter Thatcher on 15. Now, this is 17, but we know we have to get through all the indexes. All right about here is where we start. We're past the indexes and we start having pages. This is all the seals and everything that were put on it. Now we're getting into, this was done in 1819. So if you think about it, we're looking for births that are in the 1600s. So this right here, we already know is not originals, but we're going to see what information they have. We look here on image 22. Isn't that pretty though, how they write all that? I've practiced my cursive and I can read it pretty well, but sometimes it's so beautiful when you have someone who truly knows how to do it well. Now we have number 1, number 2. So these numbers are pages, but let's see if you notice what I did as we're going through. We have these names, but these aren't done by date. These are done by family. So you have the couple at the top, and Edward Sturgis, and let's see. Nope, not going to try that one. Let's try this one. Nathaniel and Elizabeth Bakers and children, and this is the names of all their children and when they were born. Isn't that spiffy? Here's the problem. Those are 1700s. These don't go back as far as we were hoping. Let me see here. And sometimes there's random stuff. The fact that they put dead by all of those, I really don't understand it. If this was in the 1800s, I would assume most of these people would be dead. So I would love to find out the details on that. And if you happen to know, please let me know. Eventually I'll look it up, I'm sure. But we're going to keep going until we find, that was born in 1699. John Thatcher and Lydia, 12. This is John Thatcher and Rebecca. And then we have the Peter, Josiah, Rebecca. Let's see here, some of the names. We had a whole bunch of thankfuls. That was pretty neat. Okay, there's Judah. But this one was born in 1693. So wrong generation, basically. Not the same people. But I decided I'd do a little bit more looking. Now we have Yarmouth here. We have birth, marriages, and deaths by families. You see that right there? That's what's showing that it's not the actual original entries. And that's what we're wanting to check on. And we're going to go back here. More indexes, marriages, intentions, town records. Now, let's go click on this. This to me is where some of this gets so cool. All right, come on. Index by family, town records. Let's go out. Page 1. Open it up. Now check these out. This is why you don't just go by the book that was written in 1910. Because here our town records. And we can go in, see Benjamin Vargas. Here's names that, in all honesty, they wouldn't be able to have really read very well. And now, and then here's the page references for each of those. And we're going to go forward a little bit. Now, I will tell you that so far of going through these, I have not yet found the information of the, oh, here's another thankful. Seem to be a lot of them in the family lines I'm following right now. So let's go in and see what we can see. I really hope, I'm going to go double check real quick. Can y'all see me or them? Okay, good. You're seeing, you are getting to see both, so to speak. I just wanted to make sure that, here I am. Okay. Now, if we look in this area right here, see where it says thankful and daughter of John and Sarah Burgess. And she was born the 7th day of June in the year 1708. Okay, so that actually is still a lot farther or a lot closer to us than I'd like. We want to really be looking in the 1600s, the early 1600s. But these may be the best records I can currently find. So here we're going to go forward a little bit more. See what we have here. I like to do a lot of spot checks because sometimes, all right, yep. See, this is going more into the 1700s. Sometimes I've found where the scans are actually backwards. It's weird because it's like as you go forward in numbers of scans, the years are going backwards from a more modern to that older time period. So it is still good to kind of like jump around and check on things. So let's go check on something else here though while I've got it going. I pulled up, one of the things I like to do is pulling up a map. Now this is in Massachusetts, for those who didn't recognize the names or notice that. Well, obviously it was saying Massachusetts at the top of the page. But here, right here, we've got the Boston Harbor area, and Yarborough is Yarmouth, sorry, is all the way down here by Barnstable and out in this area. But everybody else, where his daughter went and all the rest of the family line, is here in Newton, just south of Cambridge. And from reading that book from 1910, I was able to find out that originally that town never really got a name. It was called Newtown because it was on the south side of the river from Cambridge, and it was just called Newtown. And as time went on, one of the clerics, he just didn't put the W in, and eventually it just stuck. So it's kind of something that here this town name was really just kind of a leftover thing. Now we have all these other towns, and now with Yarborough, with the ones we're looking at right now, or Yarmouth, why do I keep saying Yarborough? With Yarmouth there, we can also look at Chatham, Sandwich, Knobs. I know that some of y'all are going to have it with me. I'm so sorry. I should have double checked how to pronounce some of these names. But sometimes you can end up where these towns that you're working with and you're looking at don't even exist anymore. I ran into that a ton when I was doing the on my dad's side of the family. When they came over in 1903 was when his grandfather came over. There was it was Austria at the time, but that area that they were in at the time, Austria was huge. And the area that he came from is now part of the Czech Republic, but they were German speaking. So that can be really confusing on a bunch of census. But when I went and started looking at the names of the towns, boy, during that time period, because you had Czech speaking people in Austria, you had German speaking people in Austria, you had all these other things going on. You could have two siblings show up within a month of each other to get things documented as far as their family. Let's say, for example, they've had a birth or a death or something like that, a marriage, and they'll give different names. Depends on if the person they're talking to, or the scribe, or the cleric, or whomever, the priest, if they are German speaking versus Czech speaking, or if they're just spelling it phonetically, because there were priests that would come in from Italy. You can tell the difference in how they write. You can have German words with Czech spelling written in a Latin script, and boy, is that fun. But just stuff like that, I don't know, I just find it fascinating. But in the future, I hope I can do some videos and showing that type of thing. But here, being able to look in close and seeing, this gives me the option of saying, okay, let's see if we have any information on that town that I can't seem to pronounce correctly. We're going to go and look. There we are. Nice. At least it existed. Marriage, births in 1643. Let me see here. How low can you go? We're looking for low birth years. Index to transcripts of records. That might give us some information. And let me see here. Transcript of records. All right. All right, that's as old as we're going to get. So let's just be simple. Go back. Town records, a lot of times those are things like tax rolls. Sometimes it's how much money was spent on putting a window in on, some building or whatever. So sometimes that can give you some interesting information. If you really want, Cardassians have got nothing. Cardassians have nothing on reading the minutes for the Society of Friends, also known as the Quakers. They kept minutes. They wrote out what happened in every meeting that was taken every week, and all of it's written in this very nice way. Sometimes can be a bit, how should I say, very professional, while at the same time they're getting into everybody's business. So it's like that very fine line between asking for prayers and spreading rumors. But anyway, let's take a look. Now, I have not looked in these yet. I do not have any idea what kind of a look we'll have, but I am going to go back up to, I think, didn't we have one that was, there's family records. Those are going to be Bibles. Index to births. Nope. I'm getting lost. Sorry, folks. Births, marriages, and See, that's all together. So that says volume 1, but that says town records. They might be in the same section though. Let's see what we've got. Let's check out this first one here. Because sometimes even if a person was born in a particular town, it may have gotten written in and recognized in another. So let's go all the way up. This actually, the way this is laid out reminds me a lot of the German records I've gone through. A copy of the index to the first book of page 1. Captain Standish. Command. The privilege of command. Indian grant to Captain Standish. Let's see. Now, we do have to realize that sometimes the terms that are used aren't the ones that are common today or that would be acceptable today. But we can only take this at face value. It is what it is. At the time, there were certain terms that were being used that nowadays people may find disrespectful, crude, whatever. But for the time, it was the recognized term. They didn't have other terms to use at the time. Now, this talks about sandwich line. And that's not like a place to get food. That's that town that was over there. I would really love it if any of our friends that are in that area shall approve. All right, I'm just about to appoint. Oh, there we go. Witness presents that. Okay. Now dwelling at and make over unto a town of This is a town copy taken out of the original town meeting, 1655. Okay, we've jumped forward. Now, some of these names may sound kind of familiar. That's because, dun, 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 from what I can tell, from other lines that are connected with this one that I'm tracing, Jonathan Hatch, Big Matt's family line through his mother goes back to the Mayflower, and they signed the compact. And then there was also a brother of that one was on the Dove. So talk about going way back in the Wayback Machine. Anyway, let me bring this back over and kind of sign this off for now. I'm gonna take this down. And now you got me back. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed going through it. I know for some people this might be really kind of boring, but for me it was kind of cool. And to be able to trace back and turn these videos that, these statements that were in a book, and then take that back to the indexes, and then take that back to the original records. And it would have been great if I could have found one that actually correlated, but I think through this you can see how it's done. And there's other things that can be gone into in a later one. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and if nothing else, I have a record for family. So I guess that's kind of really my goal with a lot of this is I want to be able to change this to be these posts, these videos are under Branch Chaser, are a lot for our family and the family history. I think that nowadays it's probably the easiest way for me to be able to um, put all this together. People always want to know the stories, but they don't want to see lists of who this person is, who that person is, whatever. They just want the spiffy stories. So, but to me, kind of like fishing line, some people might think it's nuts, but I actually don't mind untangling the line. It now I'm not saying that you should still use it necessarily, because it may have, if it's tangled, if it's it may have weak points, but that depends on the time. But it just drives me nuts. I want to I don't want to just have this bundle of ick. I want to take it apart. I want to be able to see what's what. And there's a lot of personal feeling of satisfaction when I'm able to get that line and it flows free. Well, the same thing with these branches. To be able to untangle all of that and have it run free is just something that uh, I enjoy. And I hope some of y'all enjoy it too. All right. Have a great day or night or